New Michelin tires at the T.O. Haas Tire near you.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainer and Enrique Alvarez Clear are with you today. Hello, Rico.
That's a hell of a way to start the show. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
That's
I'm
good.
doing great.
When do you want to get to that? Do you want to do that 2:45?
I kind of want to start with that.
Okay. So we'll start with that.
We can censor ourselves. We're fine.
Absolutely. All right. As always, a couple things first. Housekeeping items. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both of those open for you all hour long, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream. Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Throw your comment up there. We can get you involved in the show that way as well. And then Twitter, Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. Feel free to send us a message, do anything you want to do on there. Follow us. We'll take care of things that way. This is kind of how today's going to pan out. I want to talk about some of like having stability in the Husker football program. So we'll kind of dive into there because like looking at and I guess let me clarify stability within the personnel that is not necessarily coaches, but people or like players out there,
the roster.
Yes, and it's more specifically the offense. And we'll kind of tie that into a quarterback discussion and so on. But we'll kind of talk about transfer portal quarterbacks, how Nebraska should navigate this offseason, kind of what we think is going to happen as well. Erin Sorensen of Hail Varsity will join us at 2:30 as she does every single Wednesday. So we'll get some information from her, ask her some questions about why we haven't heard anything yet. What is going on? Brian Kelly.
Secrets.
I know Mickey Joseph's name is still swirling around and everything, and I'm not really going to dive into that, but I know Brian Kelly, I saw today, still hasn't decided who's staying at LSU from the previous staff. So honestly, we'll see what happens then.
Honestly, it would be pretty dumb if Brian Kelly didn't at least try to keep Mickey Joseph on the staff. Yeah. Based on, his track record of recruits brought into the LSU program and what they've done. Not only at LSU, but at the next level. Like he's brought in some pretty talented people to the Tigers. So if you're the new head coach and you kind of look at his track record and you're just like, you know what? I think I can get somebody better. I don't know about that one. So it's going to be a battle if Nebraska is truly attempting to take Mickey Joseph away from LSU. It's going to be a battle between Nebraska and Chip Kelly. Not Chip Kelly. Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly.
Yeah, not Chip Kelly.
So many Kellys.
Chip Kelly is UCLA. He has to now compete with Lincoln Riley. All right, first I want to talk about, so if you guys missed the news yesterday, I'm not sure if any of the other shows mentioned it, the ticket shop is live.
Yes, it is.
Go get your shirts,
hats,
sweatshirts. If you guys have a shirt idea.
Hoodies.
Oh, yeah. Sweatshirts, hoodies.
Jersey shirts.
Jay Foreman jersey.
Eric Strickland jersey.
I'm not sure if it's a jersey for Eric Strickland yet.
I don't know. There's one for Terrence Badgett.
Yes. Speaking of Terrence Badgett, 6:00 tonight, Terrence Bud Crawford on the ticket weeknights.
Who is the real Terrence?
Oh, that'll be the first question, I'm sure. No, but go to the ticket shop. That's just on our website, top right corner. Hit the little button that has the 3 lines on there. Drag, it'll open up a little pop-up tab, and it'll say shop, and click on that, and we can get you hooked up with some ticket swag that way.
Right now, Early Break is the only one with a customized shirt. Well, and I guess What's the Buzz also has one, the Yaka Dunka
Yes.
one. So there's 2 customized shirts. We can make a custom shirt for the happy hour. We need to get together, but also we will take suggestions on the text line and the Starter Heyman Jewelers text line and the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Comment on there if you have an idea for a shirt for the happy hour.
Absolutely.
Everything is on the table.
I think we're definitely going to do a shout out Industry Baby.
I was wondering about that one.
I think shout out Industry Baby needs to be one.
It's part of our shtick.
Remember when we did the first text?
Mhm.
That was a bad bit.
The winner of nothing.
I'm glad we stopped.
We
that.
can make a t-shirt that says I am a winner of nothing. Even though we don't do it anymore.
I'm glad we
It was a
stopped
thing.
that.
People loved it. The people loved it.
I'm excited. Okay, so we get this on Twitter actually from Brian. So it's a big night ahead for Husker men's basketball, NC State, but then also Husker women's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
The undefeated women will play Wake Forest tonight. Both tip off at 6 p.m. I believe the women's game is on ACC Network and the men's game is on ESPNU. So you might have to follow along on the radio if you don't get ACC Network, which is kind of, I think it's stupid how the conference networks just don't go national.
It's very
because I'll be on vacation and I'll need to watch the Husker football game, but they don't get
on
Big Ten Network.
The women are on Watch ESPN.
Okay, perfect.
So like an ESPN3 type thing. So you're gonna have to, stream it off of, your phone, your laptop, or if you have the Watch ESPN on like a smart TV or something, you can probably get it off of there.
Roll up with the 2 TV design.
You have the women on your laptop or your phone. You can have the men on your TV. It'll be a great time.
And then directly, so this is kind of how the program is going to go, and DP will remind you guys later this afternoon as well. But it'll be Terrence Badgett, Uptown with number 43 from 6 to 8. Then it will be the Basketball Pros Game show immediately following Nebraska basketball. So we will be going into the late hours of the night as usual. But yeah, I agree with Brian on Twitter that he replied on my tweet and said, why do they get scheduled at the same time? I agree. All right, so we got some shirt suggestions, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Drumstick says, how about a shirt with Rico dressed up like Spike Lee and Nick with a Reggie Miller jersey?
That would make sense if Nick was a Pacers fan.
Yeah. What if we did Spike Lee and...
We could do... No, we can't. Never mind.
Okay, timeout with the whole like NBA, the Bulls and the Heat losing their second round pick.
Yeah, tampering. How dare you?
Round pick.
If the Knicks got caught, if the Knicks got caught tampering, everybody would be suspended for the entire season, and the Knicks would just have to fold up shop.
I'm telling you right now, they can have the second round pick.
Are you serious,
like,
NBA?
It's bad. Yeah, like it probably should have been more of a harsher punishment. But go ahead, take our second round pick, and we'll take Lonzo Ball. And I'm sure
that's what they're saying. Lonzo Ball's only worth a second round pick.
And I'm sure. And are they saying that to the Heat that Kyle Lowry is only a second round pick? Because that was the same thing for them.
One of those, neither of those is true. Yeah.
Lonzo's playing well. Coming off a big win against the Hornets.
Okay, whatever.
All right, shirt ideas. Eric from Popeyes, you need to have a happy hour koozie. That will absolutely happen.
That's necessary. We'll have some 93.7 the ticket koozie. We'll talk to the people in charge. We'll get that happening.
Cubsker, y'all need my shirt suggestion. Send in
Send it in.
Yeah,
Let us know, Cubsker.
We don't know. Adam, we need a Curter Point shirt. I have Curter Points I would like to redeem from College Game Day.
I will have to talk to Happer about that, but I'm sure he would love to do that.
Are Curter Points still a thing?
Yes. We haven't given them out in a while, but they are still a thing. Don't ask for any on this show. We can't give any. Although I have an unlimited supply, I cannot give any during this show. It is only during Happer and Schaefer. I'll have to talk to them again. We still have the Curter Points board up there. Nobody's done really anything to earn any Curter Points. Maybe the listeners should be more creative with their texts and everything that they do. You can get some Curter Points. Get yourself a shirt.
Yeah.
Again, they are only redeemable at the last Blockbuster.
That's
that we haven't talked to about.
Is that still around?
Yeah, it's in Oregon.
I thought it closed up.
No, there's just one.
All right. Is that like their bit that they're doing, like the last Blockbuster?
Yeah, I mean, they are the last Blockbuster. There were two. One was in Alaska, one was in Oregon. The one in Alaska shut down, so there's only one in Oregon, and it kind of has like all the stuff there. I don't know if you can rent movies from there, but it's kind of funny because Netflix, which pretty much put Blockbuster out of business, is doing a show from the last Blockbuster. So that's cool.
All right, yeah, one remains. All right, in Bend, Oregon.
Bend, Oregon.
Somebody says a shirt with Rico saying hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so funny. Kelsey said the same thing yesterday, but she said that she wants to have that creepy picture from you from your UNK days on there as well, with the shaved head and everything.
Beautiful. We're not doing that. We might do that.
We need
We might do that.
That fits you so well, Rico.
We'll see. Yes, because I'm creepy. I'm not creepy. I'm a good person.
You are a good person.
Don't
Okay.
base me off of one picture.
Let's move on here to some Husker football talk. So I was telling what me and Rico were kind of laughing about before we 5 seconds before the show began was I was telling him that earlier today in my class, in my sports data analytics class, our professor, he went through 8,000 tweets from Nebraska, Iowa on Friday. It not like he personally,
No, yeah,
it
I
was
know.
like some
That's
algorithm
a
or
lot
thing
of tweets.
on our program. Rico, would you like to know the 10 most used words on social media?
I would, and I'm sure everybody else would as well.
And I will have to censor myself because 3 of them
Yes.
I cannot say on air.
Please censor yourself.
Win was used 115 times. Bad was used 59. Loss was used 56. Then it was love, fan, a 4-letter word that begins with S, hope. Then the 2 after that were both F-bombs.
Mm.
And then the last one, the 10th most used word, nice.
Sounds about right.
Then you could also, I will also say this.
I'm surprised the 8th and 9th weren't up near the top.
Well, it was kind of funny. So then you can put it to where that was like the singular word that was used. Well, then we put like phrases to it. So it was like a 2-word phrase. And it was like special teams was used the most. And we were all joking about how if you used 3 words, special teams coordinator and coaching would be the 3rd
Those
word.
would be pretty high up
Those
there.
would be pretty high up there. All right, Rico, let's move on. I want to talk about the Nebraska football quarterback room and stability here. Because I'm curious on, with us not knowing who the offensive coordinator is going to be, obviously the guys behind the offensive coordinator, and then the athletes on the field. We don't know what next season's going to look like. But it got me thinking, we do know Nebraska is going to be heavy in the portal. And we assume that that's going to be at the quarterback position as well.
Big portal team.
Depending on what we've talked about it quite a bit in depth. No matter what Adrian Martinez's decision is, we both feel like they should go into the portal.
Even if you believe that Logan Smothers is the guy, or Heinrich Harburg is the guy, or any quarterbacks you have on the roster is currently the guy, or Richard Torres coming in is the future for the program. It's still believable that Nebraska is going to go into the portal for possibly a stopgap quarterback to maybe give one of those guys an extra year, or waiting to see if something happens on the recruiting trail and they get somebody even more talented to come in. I still think even with, if Adrian Martinez comes back, they'll be in the portal looking for a quarterback, whether he is a starter or is just coming here to compete. I don't know.
And I'll kind of ask a rhetorical question. Are they planning to just go year by year? And I say it's rhetorical because they cannot go year by year.
I mean, you could. It'd be a terrible idea, but you could.
It'd be a bad idea, and we don't know how many years the staff has left.
You would have to bank on, good quarterbacks going in the portal every year.
Well, so that makes me wonder, like, what is the staff planning 2 and 3 years down the road? That's honestly, and maybe 3 is even stretching it, but 2 years down the road. How are they building this program? And this is kind of where that stability part comes into play, and development, because that's been a big knock on this staff their whole time here has been development. If you look at the quarterback specifically, you can say that Adrian Martinez statistically had a better season this year, but in terms of winning, he did not.
In fact, he had a worse year.
He regressed. And in some areas, and you guys know that me and Rico are huge fans of Adrian Martinez. We love him. We're very pro Adrian Martinez, or we were during the season. I mean, we're honest though in saying that there were many times that he you kind of just watched him play and watched him go through the motions and say, what in the world is going on?
There were instances where being pro Adrian Martinez was extremely painful to watch and very hard to defend some of his actions. But I mean, like you said, he improved in the turnover part of his game this season. He didn't throw as many interceptions as he previously had. But you still had some of the issues, the overthrows, the underthrows, the holding the ball a little bit too long, the not getting through his reads fast enough, not feeling pressure, not having a clock in his head to know when he has to get rid of the ball, running out of bounds and losing yardage instead of throwing the ball away. Like there were just some instances with Adrian Martinez where it was just like, you're a 4th-year starting quarterback. This shouldn't be what you're doing.
Well, and a big part of that is Adrian Martinez, but also another part is development. Part of from the coaches, with help from the coaches. Part of that is also the people that are around Adrian Martinez, and that's where I kind of went a deep dive here, because I was thinking like, yeah, a lot of it we can blame Adrian for making a bad play, or we can blame Scott Frost or whoever's calling the plays at the time. We can pass that blame to them for not putting the players in a good position. And then at the end of that, or on the other side of that, the players not making plays. But then I'm looking and I'm thinking to myself, this offense, the last couple years since Scott Frost has gotten here, has had no stability. And here's where I'll say this. Adrian, yes, he's been the staple part. He's been the quarterback.
Yes.
But the people around him have been changing. Think about the biggest
person directly in front of him hasn't.
Yes, but the person directly beside him has.
That is true.
That was one of the big laughing stories of this whole season right here. I mean, we joked about it with Aaron. We joked about it with whoever we talked to. Was who's going to start this week? I mean,
who's going to be the running back to break out this week?
I spent 5 minutes thinking about this, and I didn't look any of this up. But these are just the running backs that I've thought, or the guys that have lined up next to Adrian Martinez this year, and it's a lot. And I'm probably missing some people. Devine Ozigbo, Greg Bell, Maurice Washington, Ramir Johnson, Sevion Morrison, Marvin Scott III, Gabe Irvin, Marquise Stepp, Cooper Jewett, Brody Belt, Jaquez Yant.
Yes. And you've had receivers.
You've had receivers, Xavier Betts.
Take handoffs or take pitches, Omar Manning, Xavier Betts, Samori Toure, a couple of those guys. But yeah, it's been a healthy stable of people lining up beside or behind Adrian Martinez in the backfield. That is true. Which you look at some other schools, Michigan State. It's a healthy dose of Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
and you sprinkle in a couple other running backs here and there when he needs to get a breather. Wisconsin has a lot of people that have had rush attempts because they've had injuries and they've had people leave the program or get dismissed from the program after a couple of games. But for the most part, it's been a 17-year-old taking most of the handoffs for Wisconsin. So, you've got teams like that who have a guy that they go to, and then, you have the bench, the stable of running backs that you use in a reserve sort of role. Whereas with Nebraska, it's just been, well, I guess we'll trot this person out there this week. And he had, 5 bad carries. Let's trot this guy out there for 10. He had a bad game. Let's trot this person out there for the next game. And it's just been, trying to fit a puzzle piece in a hole that it's really not designed for. And I'm not saying that these guys aren't, designed to run this offense or to do exactly what they need to do, but just the way that they've kept trying to put a running back in the backfield to complement Adrian Martinez and to find the holes with this offensive line if they get to create any holes at all sometimes in the running game. And it just seems like it hasn't worked out this season.
Well, and it's just kind of crazy to think about just all the people that have, all the running backs specifically, that have just shuffled in and then they've shuffled out, and it was a week-to-week thing.
And some guys that you hadn't seen since like the second week of the season.
Marquise Stepp, for example. And it was just shocking, and it was worrisome maybe that one week they were the starter and then the next week
they didn't get a carry.
And then that tacked on to a second week in a row and third week in a row of not getting any action, not getting a single snap. And so then I thought, okay, the offensive line has been a massive problem throughout Scott Frost's time here in Nebraska.
Yes.
Who's been stable on the offensive line? Cam Jurgens, we said, has been there.
Yes.
But this was the first year that you didn't really talk about him because he was doing his job.
Yeah.
But on the other 4 spots, they're switching. Obviously, an injury to Teddy Prohaska affected that. But that's where I'm thinking, like, they just need some like stability. And then you go to the wide receiver room.
Well, the only reason that Teddy Prohaska got in was even playing was because there was it wasn't great with the current offensive line that you had. You threw him in there, you thought you had something, and then he ended up getting injured, and you had to go back to the first offensive line that you were using. I mean, Bryce Benhart's a 2-year starter, but he wasn't really playing up to snuff on the right side of the offensive line. Turner Corcoran was better on the right side of the offensive line, but had to move back to the left side where he's been struggling with some of the speed rushers that he's had to go against.
It took him 4 to 5 weeks and this continues to be prevalent. Is it takes them throughout a couple games to find the best group of guys. The better players that fit better on the field. It took them 4 weeks to find an offensive line that was their best group before Teddy Prohaska got hurt. Thinking back to their first season, it took them how many weeks until Greg Bell left the program to find Divine Ozigbo, who was 3rd on the depth chart, and then he had a great season the first season.
Anyone to the NFL?
I forgot Dedrick Mills on that list. Dedrick Mills was on that list. And so,
I mean, that the Divine Ozigbo thing, you could tie that into this season. It took him. Ramir Johnson wasn't even on the 2 deep, the 3 deep, whatever. He was like the 5th running back to come off the bench, and 3-4 games into the season, he's your starter until he gets injured.
He's here. That's the alarming thing. Those are the things that I point to, and I say, how do you expect an offense to gel and mesh well together and put quality weeks on top of quality weeks and quality performances when every single week it's a different guy out there? And yes, like I said, you had Adrian Martinez, but then it's whoever's lining up at running back. And then Rico, I'll ask you this. Who's been the most stable guy in the wide receiver room?
Samori Toure.
Samori Toure this year. Previous years, it was, Stanley Morgan their first year. But I don't know.
Stanley and JD for a year, and then JD for another year, and then he ended up leaving, and then it was kind of a hodgepodge of wide receivers for a year, and then this year it was Samori Toure. You thought you were going to get more out of Omar Manning, although he made plays here and there. Xavier Betts was hit and miss.
Well, let me tell you guys, this guy. We thought we were going to get quite a bit out of Oliver Martin. And we did. We did out of the first week.
The first week, Oliver Martin showed up, then he got hurt, and then when he came back, he couldn't really find the field again. No. It seemed like he wasn't on the field all that much, and when he was on the field, I can't speak to the blocking or anything like that. I don't, because unfortunately I didn't really watch too closely with some of the receivers blocking, so I can't really say if he was on the field a lot on run plays and blocking well. But some of the times when he was getting the ball, it just the one that just sticks in my mind is the unenthusiastic attempt to catch a ball and Adrian Martinez getting intercepted. And
it's you can put Oliver Martin there. You can put Marcus Fleming, who saw the field against Northwestern last year and then transferred, or there was some situation there that he transferred middle of the season to Maryland. And you can say Cade Warner last year. He was a captain last year and he was not out there.
He was supposed to be your safety valve and you didn't see him much.
And so, like, if you really do a deep dive specifically only on this offense, the more problematic side of the ball for Nebraska under Scott Frost, under the last couple seasons specifically, you can kind of, I'm not saying cut Adrian, and this was not a way to, or a way for me to say, hey, cut Adrian Martinez some slack, but you can kind of see why Adrian Martinez has had to do it all every single game. And you need Adrian Martinez or whoever your quarterback out there is to do it all, to be Superman. Part of that is Scott Frost's offense, but part of that is also you have no idea what play this guy's going to be out there for, besides Samori Toure. And we saw that connection between Adrian and Samori really, really click this season.
It started off extremely strong, then it kind of weaned off for a couple of games, and then as you saw the last few games of this season, Samori Toure and Adrian were really, really on the same page.
Every single game, it was, hey, let's throw a play action, Deep post to Samori Toure. Bam, 70-some yards to the house.
It almost seemed like Adrian Martinez is one of those things where Adrian Martinez just kind of throws it down the field and he's like, yeah, Samori's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Like Samori would find a way to get open and make a big play for Adrian Martinez where it seemed like none of the other receivers could do that. It was Samori Toure and it was Austin Allen towards the end of the season. Because even Austin Allen, who is the Big Ten tight end of the year, didn't get as many targets as he probably should have until about midway through the season.
Yeah.
You've got a 6'9" tight end who's pretty athletic, who, again, the best tight end in the conference, and he has 3 career touchdowns.
And you are sitting there with a red zone scoring percentage of 105th in the country.
Oh, by the way, he's 6'9".
And they found a way when they get inside the 5-yard line to have Chancellor Brewington murder somebody. That worked. But when you're in between the 5 and
that was a
20-yard line,
staple. That was a staple inside the 5-yard line. That was the play that Nebraska ran. Chancellor Brewington came on the field. You knew exactly what was going to happen. They're gonna fake the handoff to the running back. Chancellor Brewington's gonna run across the field, kill somebody, and Adrian Martinez is gonna walk into the end zone.
And that's an identity part that we've been longing for. And necessarily, it's not on a large scale. It was on a small scale of, hey, inside the 5-yard line, do what you know what to, or do what you do best. And who cares if the defense knows? And they did it. And they still scored touchdowns, and they still found the end zone doing it. Mm-hmm. So this is where I'm saying, like, if you look ahead to next year, really quickly, before we get to Aaron, if you look ahead to next year, I'm sitting here thinking Nebraska's really got to find some guys that they can count on every single week outside of the quarterback if they want to turn this thing around.
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw it this year, they really relied on their defense every single game to keep them in a ball game, despite or outside of the Northwestern game, outside of the Fordham game. It was as long as the defense plays their best brand of football every single game, Nebraska's going to have a chance. Or there'd be flashes, once again, flashes of strong offensive football from Nebraska, but it wasn't sustainable. That's a big word this offseason. Find something that's sustainable.
Sustainability.
Running a quarterback 25 times is not sustainable. Going transfer portal for every single year to find guys that have that can make an impact for one season, and then you have to have the same problem next year. Not sustainable.
I mean,
you
can
do
it's
that. Great. Like Samori Toure was great.
Yes.
But you have to build the program. At some point, you have to develop guys, and that's something that they have not shown the ability to do on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They're 4 years here. And that's what it scares the crap out of. It should scare some Husker fans, because you're sitting here saying, who have they developed where we can see consistent quality football from that player that they have been here since the beginning.
The transfer portal is not there to replace a finger on your hand. It's there to put a Band-Aid on the cut. You're not supposed to use it to cover up major wounds on your team. You're supposed to use it to improve your team, not to build your team up into some type of juggernaut. That's not what the transfer portal is going to be able to do for certain teams. I mean, for Michigan State, it seems like it. I mean, they got 20 plus transfers, and they had a really fantastic year, especially with Kenneth Walker coming in the transfer portal. But that's not really what's going to happen year in and year out for a team. You're going to go in the transfer portal, and you're going to find a couple of guys that'll be able to help you out, but you're not going to be able to sustainably go in the transfer portal year after year and find somebody to save your team.
I want to read a couple texts before we get to Aaron here. The Milkman says, need to have better line play. Yeah, that's a great place to start. And then this one's a little longer. It's from JD. He says, now, guys, everyone always seems to bring up how long Frost and company has left. Like firing would be a good thing. As this coaching carousel has shown us, even coaches at very successful big jobs have left for roughly the same level or barely higher type jobs. I'm going to skip a little bit of this because it says here, we're all frustrated, but having a head coach take a pay cut to stay and try to make changes and love where he's coaching might be the best fit no matter what occurs, like it or not. That's an interesting way to look at it. And you're absolutely right to an extent, JD. I am on board with that. However, it's and we've said it before, Scott Frost and company need to be okay with making changes. They need to be open to changing. And that's where a lot of fans, including myself, a lot of people that watch this team have some skepticism. And you can't blame anybody for having skepticism on that front. So let's take a break. We'll get to Aaron Sorensen of Hail Varsity next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these 2 radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of special discounts at the event and other discounts throughout the month of December. You'll find savings on oil and filters, attachments, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. You'll also have a chance to visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our winter service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com for a complete schedule of our expo events.
Have you been to Barn Wood and Leather, that new furniture store in Lincoln? It's a whole new look. If you like country, you'll love Barn Wood and Leather. It's country with a kick. Rustic, yet contemporary. Handcrafted in America from historic reclaimed barnwood and the finest leather. Create your own one-of-a-kind look for a room or your whole home. Come see for yourself at Barn Wood and Leather, South 14th and Dahlberg. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers says let it snow because a white New Year's Eve could mean free jewelry. Shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Holiday savings throughout the store. 36 months interest-free financing with approved credit. And remember, shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Sutter Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
This is a Broncos Radio Network update.
Touchdown, Denver! How about that? I like that!
Broncos insider Brandon Cristal, as we'll be reminded over and over this week, Denver's dropped its last 11 games to the Chiefs. And linebacker Bradley Chubb knows if they're going to break that streak, they have one focal point.
Getting after Mahomes, man. If the offense revolves around 15, we got to stop the run first. That's every week. Got to get after the quarterback. And like I said, that's our job as outside linebackers, as pass rushers. We got to affect and get him off his spot, make him change his arm angle and stuff like that. We know he can do that, but trying to make him as uncomfortable as we can. So that's going to be the game plan.
Then rookie linebacker Brandon Browning's played in some big games at Ohio State, but knows as far as NFL stadiums go, Arrowhead is certainly different.
I mean, I just heard the atmosphere is crazy. That's really about it. I haven't heard too much else. I'm just kind of approaching it as any other game. I mean, can't let the noise kind of get to you. You have to block it out and just, approach it the same way you would any game.
The Broncos are back on the practice field Wednesday, getting ready to play at the Chiefs Sunday night.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary are with you today. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, Sutter Heyman text line. We get this off the text line. They've developed Cam Jurgens. Remember when he would snap every other ball over the quarterback's head? Yeah, that's what I was saying is in the first segment. That's what I was kind of talking about. Enrico agreed with me is you didn't hear much about Cam Jurgens this season because he was doing his job, which was a pleasant surprise.
It's always a good season for an offensive lineman when you don't have to talk about them.
Yeah. Let's go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Erin Sorensen of Hail Varsity joins us as she does every Wednesday. Erin, hello. Sorry we got to you a couple minutes late. How's everything going?
How dare you?
I know.
Like, gonna hang up, get on. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not.
good.
I wouldn't be
How are you?
surprised.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, no, we're all good. No. I guess so. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, but I'm curious about what happened on Friday. So Logan Smothers, obviously his first start for Nebraska. What was kind of your just takeaway seeing Logan Smothers? I mean, obviously they kind of simplified the offense a little bit for him, which made him settle into a groove, but down the stretch struggled a little bit. So what was your takeaway from Logan Smothers' performance on Friday?
You know, I'll say I thought that like there was that video that got shared not long after the game concluded of him with his head down, and like you could tell he was pretty disappointed in how things ended in that game. But I thought overall he played really well, especially considering this was his first start. This was his first full game that he was asked to manage, and he did so against a good Iowa team. Now, I've seen plenty of people who want to argue about how good Iowa's defense was or was not. And regardless, it does not matter. When this is your first outing, there's a lot of nerves that go into that. And to have that be against a team like Iowa, a team that is very good at what it does. Like Iowa, like Wisconsin, knows what it needs to do. And that can be a lot for anyone to go up against. But, I mean, overall, he was like 16 of 22 on his passing. He had 199 yards. He had a couple of, he rushed for like 60 some yards too. He had some touchdowns. Like, I think overall he did what was asked of him. Did he have some errors? Sure. Were they all entirely his fault? No. Are there some things he would love to get back? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I think he did a pretty good job.
We're speaking to Erin Sorensen of Hail Varsity. Now let's move forward into what Nebraska has lying ahead in terms of the football program. As the offseason approaches, Marvin Scott entered the transfer portal yesterday afternoon. It was announced. What are their biggest needs this offseason that they'll not only be able to get out of the transfer portal, but also just, I mean, the recruiting whenever this new offensive staff finally gets announced?
Yeah, great question. Because, there's going to be a lot of attrition that will continue. Like, that shouldn't surprise anyone. I think we're kind of seeing I'm not just talking at Nebraska. I think the transfer portal is going to be chaotic more than ever. There are some spots on defense, like when you talk about replacing players like Jojo Doman, Cam Taylor-Britt. Are there players on this team right now that can replace them? Absolutely, but you need to be able to build some depth. You need to build some competition. So I think those are some areas where you could be looking at linebacker. You could be looking at corner, or just really any defensive back, I guess, with a number of players that have moved on from this team at this point. So the defense, there's some areas. On offense, I do think Nebraska is still seeking those playmakers. So when you look at, I think tight end's okay, but I don't think they'd be upset if there was a running back or a wide receiver, some playmakers that want to look into it. I mean, they'll be looking at depth, honestly, in the quarterback room, especially depending on what Adrian Martinez does for the next year. So there's a number of spots, and this isn't a big recruiting class to begin with. So I think they're going to be leaning heavily on the transfer portal and also junior college recruiting.
We're speaking with Erin Sorensen of Hail Varsity. Erin, you kind of mentioned it. They're going to be looking at the transfer portal for a quarterback, depending on what Adrian Martinez does. But we were speaking earlier, and we think even if Adrian Martinez does decide to come back, that maybe this coaching staff still looks in the transfer portal and tries to get a quarterback out of there to come here and maybe push for the starting job, or maybe, have that starting job while Adrian recovers to full health, even if that takes towards the beginning of the season. What are your feelings on that?
Yeah, I actually think you're right. I agree with you, because we also don't know what the future looks like for, say, Logan Smothers. Could Logan look at transferring? Possibly. It's hard to know what the future looks like for this quarterback room, but right now even with Adrian, if Adrian opts to return, you're still looking at a room that is Adrian, Logan Smothers, and Heinrich Harburg. Obviously, you have Richard. Is it Richard Torres?
Yeah, Richard Torres.
Yeah, sorry, my brain just like quickly just like
all good.
If anyone ever wants to know, like my mind just went black for a moment. But yeah, so I mean, you'd have players, but I think you could argue that maybe there's not a lot of depth there because Heinrich hasn't had any playing time. Logan's playing time is still limited, although he has more playing time thanks to that Iowa game and a couple of, garbage times this season as well. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be some big names in the transfer portal. So if you're Scott Frost and you can make the case for one of those quarterbacks to transfer to Nebraska, potentially challenge Adrian or challenge Logan, competition is not a bad thing. Competition breeds better quarterbacks. And so if there is somebody who wants to come and vie for that spot, I don't think you say no. I don't think you can.
Aaron, are we surprised that we haven't heard more decisions or found out about more attrition yet? I mean, because Monday really felt like it was a holiday, transfer portal day, right? And stuff like that. And I'm kind of like, personally, I'm surprised that we haven't learned of not necessarily only Adrian Martinez's decision, but just other guys that have decided to move on from Nebraska football. Are you in that same boat, or are you not too concerned about it right now?
I'm not surprised. I would say I'm hesitant. I don't know if I should be concerned yet or not. I'm not surprised. And the reason why is because key hires have not been made. I think there are a number of players on this roster that are probably waiting to see who their position coach is going to be, waiting to see what is the person coming in, what does their offense look like. If you are somebody who's trying to decide what your future is, you want to know who that offensive coordinator is and the type of offense they run. Is it going to be fitting for you? If it's not, you might get your name in the transfer portal. Maybe you stick around through spring to see how you might fit and then transfer if that's not the right thing. I think you're seeing some delayed transfer possibilities for Nebraska because they're waiting to see what the offensive coordinator is going to look like, what their offense is going to look like. Who are they going to bring with them? Do they potentially bring any players with them that want to transfer to Nebraska because they're here? That's the part for me where like a lot of this feels delayed because we don't know what those coaching spots look like right now. And I think that could mean we could see more transfers for Nebraska at a later date.
I guess let me just kind of put it simple as can be. I mean, what's taken so long for this to find a staff? I mean, is it possible that they're still playing their seasons? Is that possibly the holdup, or why is it taking so long for Nebraska to fill these positions?
I think there's a couple of things at work here. I think one, like you just said, some of these coaches are still actively in their seasons. And because of that, they are maybe not willing to move forward yet, or their negotiations are taking longer. I also think the coaching carousel is absolutely bonkers right now. Yeah. And I think people that may have been interested and available 2 weeks ago, even 1 week ago, maybe aren't so much anymore. I know one name that I saw a whole bunch of Nebraska fans talking about is someone like Graham Harrell. Could he have been Nebraska's offensive line coach? Possibly. But the thing I will say is he also could, like, I could see a guy like Lincoln Riley being really interested in retaining him at USC. Or maybe he goes to Texas Tech. Like, the big changes in all of these coaching, these open roles, mean that jobs that may not, like, coaches that may not have had a ton of options even a week ago suddenly have a whole lot of options today. And for that reason, I think you're probably seeing a little bit of that as Nebraska is going to have to step up and compete against some programs like USC, like LSU, insert random school that is inevitably going to be without a head coach and that's going to shake up everything. That changes things. So when Nebraska fired the 4 offensive coaches, when it did, Nebraska was ahead of the game. A lot has changed in that period of time. And I think that's a big reason is you're basically seeing the competition in the coaching carousel just take off. And that could put Nebraska in some interesting spots as it looks to kind of rebuild the staff.
Oh, we're speaking with Aaron Sorensen of Hail Varsity. Aaron, enough with football. Let's move on to basketball, specifically the women who are 7-0, going to Wake Forest to take on the 7-0 Demon Deacons. What are we looking for in this game?
Sorry, say that one more time. I was reading an email on volleyball.
Nebraska women are going to Wake Forest to take on the Demon Deacons. Both teams are 7-0. What can we expect from this game?
Oh my gosh. For the record, because of this, if anyone's like, we're in the off season, we are absolutely not. You have volleyball with NCAA tournaments. You have both basketball teams. There's wrestling. There's so much stuff. So I apologize. Literally just was looking at NCAA. Like it just came across my inbox. I apologize. That's where we're at right now.
That's okay.
This game for Nebraska's women's team is going to be, I think I said this heading into the weekend in San Diego, which they really handled well. But this is definitely the biggest test. Like Nebraska has done what it's needed to do against everybody it's played so far. But this Wake Forest is also, you've got two undefeated teams. Wake Forest has one of the best defenses in this country. It's going to challenge Nebraska. So, Nebraska's going to have to limit turnover. So that's going to be a big part of it. You can't turn the ball over too many times to a team that is as good at defense as Wake Forest is. That'll be a key. And then they're just going to have to just play their game. I said that heading into this last weekend. Don't get out of sorts when things get tough. Just play their game, stay committed to their game, and just play smart. And I think this is a really special team. They have proven that they're very good. This is gonna be a good one. And even I'm just gonna say, if for some reason they come out of this 7-1, what they will gain from this is astronomical. So hey, if they come out 8-0, amazing. If they don't, there's still a ton to gain here.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of season left for both men's and women's. All right, Aaron, appreciate the time as always. We will talk to you next week.
I appreciate it, and thank you for bearing with my brain just going blank.
we're all in the same boat.
It happens to me literally all of the time.
Yeah, Rico's like that all the time. Appreciate it as always, Aaron. Talk to you later.
Bye.
That is Aaron Sorensen of Hail Varsity. All right, let's take our final timeout. It's Spotify Wrapped season. So, Rico, I'm going to tell you my Spotify Wrapped. We'll do that and close out the show next on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers says let it snow because a white New Year's Eve could mean free jewelry. Shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Holiday savings throughout the store. 36 months interest-free financing with approved credit. And remember, shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Sutter Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
Have you been to Barn Wood and Leather, that new furniture store in Lincoln? It's a whole new look. If you like country, you'll love Barn Wood and Leather. It's country with a kick. Rustic, yet contemporary. Handcrafted in America from historic reclaimed barnwood and the finest leather. Create your own one-of-a-kind look for a room or your whole home. Come see for yourself at Barn Wood and Leather, South 14th and Dahlberg. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
Happer and Schaefer.
Over the first 3 years, they've had it a very specific way, just as far as how they use the 10 assistant, offensive coordinator / wide receivers coach. So I'll be curious to see how they kind of reshuffle that, if they reshuffle it all. If they don't, I think that'd be kind of disappointing. You don't want to put different guys in the same type of roles. The whole point of doing this is reshuffling the deck.
Yeah, the whole point of doing this is to free Scott Frost up to do other things.
Right.
Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in the station.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of special discounts at the event and other discounts throughout the month of December. You'll find savings on oil and filters, attachments, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. You'll also have a chance to visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our winter service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com for a complete schedule of our expo events.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah, 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they going to know?
Sponsored by SAMHSA and Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to the happy hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Unfortunately, we had to retire the Rico.
It'll be back.
Because Nebraska football did not. Okay, here, let's do this.
It'll be back.
If Nebraska men's basketball can beat NC State tonight, and Nebraska women's basketball can beat Wake Forest, two massive road wins, then tomorrow the Rico returns.
Okay.
I like that deal.
Sounds like a deal to me. I'm good with it.
I think that's an easy enough.
I was just gonna. I'm just gonna be like, all right, this week, if Nebraska athletics just goes undefeated, it'll be back.
We could. I mean, I'm confident enough in saying volleyball wins their matches.
Well, what should be the parameters for the Rico to be back? I guess that was a kind of a question. We could just go with the basketball tonight. It'll be back tomorrow. Or we could go the whole week with all the athletic events that are going on this week and just throw all those in there.
No, because I think people are missing it. We've gotten some reaction.
Do we want it back? That's the question.
I don't know. Do you want to have it back?
I mean, it's fun. Like, really fun.
Speaking of the song that was playing, shout out Industry Baby.
Shout out always.
We can make that a t-shirt. Seriously, we will make that a t-shirt.
Give us t-shirt ideas.
You will see me strutting around Lincoln with that shirt on.
Shout out Industry Baby.
Which... That brings up
93.7 The Ticket.
That brings up this fun little nugget here.
Nuggets.
So if you guys are on Spotify, you would have received a Spotify Wrapped. It's called WRAPPED Wrapped. Top artists. It gives you your top artists and your top songs that you sang. Rico, here are my top artists. It's not. I'm not excited about these.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you 3 guesses to get.
Okay.
Is Lil Nas X on there?
It is.
Is Olivia Rodrigo on there?
It is, but that is what she has. One of my top songs that I listened to this year.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to make sure that those two were on there. Go ahead.
Okay, top artists in order: Morgan Wallen,
okay,
Post Malone, Quinn.
Who's Quinn?
It's like Quinn XCII, so I think it's 23, 43.
Whatever.
Anyway, Quinn, Lil Nas, and this DaBaby. So top songs. Number 1, Levitating, Dua Lipa with DaBaby. Number 2, Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo.
Good for you.
Number 3, Shout Out Industry Baby.
Always and Forever.
4th is not important. It's from a small artist. And then number 5, that's What I Want by Lil Nas.
Wow. Look at you.
It was pretty embarrassing when I opened that up.
No, you're true to the brand. You don't have to be embarrassed.
I was pretty embarrassed when I opened that one up. All right, we got a couple minutes left here. Rico, how are you feeling about Nebraska men's basketball tonight against NC State and the women's?
I have this weird feeling that the men are going to shoot better than they have at PBA. I don't know why. There's absolutely nothing to it. Just maybe a change of scenery will do them good.
Yep.
I think if they're going to win, it's going to be really close. If they win, it's close. If they lose, I think it's double digits.
Oh, so it's either a close win or a blowout loss.
Yes, and I think the women play a really close game, and I think they go into tomorrow 8-0.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited to see the women play tonight on ESPN3. That's going to be an exciting one. We have. Do you want to get on, DP?
You want to say what you want to say?
Okay. You move that microphone. I want to make sure.
You don't want to say anything? Are you sure?
He's got that smile on his face. Like I want to.
I'm about to turn this on. You better be careful.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Get you in trouble.
Turn it on. I ain't scared of you.
Okay. You don't have to be scared of me. You got to be scared of the FCC.
So I can just say whatever I want and just say that I didn't hear you.
Okay, that's fine.
Did you say hi to Kinsey?
I did not. Hi.
She's going to torture you in a couple of weeks.
I bet.
Floor routine. Full on.
Torture you, not me.
Okay. All right. See, now she saw you say it, so it's on.
Look.
It's on.
We good.
All right. All right.
All right. One-on-one with DP is next. Kinsey Roby, gymnast for the Huskers, is here. Also, new show tonight. Up the Middle with Cam Chick and Bryce Matthews from 9 to 10 p.m. after the postgame show. Busy night ahead. We'll talk to you later. One-on-one with DP is next. Adios.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill